Okay, look, you little fucking dork. I know what you're thinking. Oh, great. Look, another Andrew Tate wannabe, another alpha male, lifestyle influencer, some dude who's never even played video games in his life to tell me about how I'm living my life wrong as a man for playing video games and then to sell me some stupid fucking course about how to be a real man and make my dick bigger and shit fire and brimstone or something like that. Look, I get it. If you play video games, at every corner there's some dude on the carnivore diet with a TRT syringe shoved so far up his ass that he just looks fantastic, and a six-pack glistening in the wind, lecturing you on how you should live your life as a gamer or player of video games. And it's probably pretty fucking annoying. Which is why you need this video, because I'm a fucking dork. I'm actually the peak dork. I have gamed hard in my life, very hard, much harder than you actually. I would actually go as far to say that I am better at video games than you, much better. So hear me when I say this, that a gaming habit, considering yourself a gamer, consistently playing games as a lifestyle is probably the worst habit you could have. You could be a chronic drinker, smoke pot before you go to bed every single night, and masturbate 24/7, the trifecta of things people yelling at you not to do on the internet these days. And you would still be better off than playing video games. I cannot picture a worse habit to have. I cannot picture a worse hobby. I cannot picture something that will slow you down and damage your life more than video games. And I'm going to explain why in this video and why I do not play video games in a specific way. And this is going to ruin video games for you. You're never going to play them again the same way. You're not going to enjoy them anymore. So I'm telling you, before you start this video, go play Donkey Kong Bonanza, get it in, collect all the bananas, go into your Discord channel, wave goodbye to all your virgin friends, say a guy in his garage with a Lamborghini behind him, he told me some stuff, now I'm gonna go fuck chicks. I'm gonna go lift weights. I'm gonna go lather baby oil on myself and get a tan outside. Because I, as the alpha gamer, the gamer who is actually better than you, the bigger dork, am going to ruin video games forever for you, and you're gonna be 10 times more successful and happy because of it. You ready to get started? Let's begin. So first things first, why can I actually tell you this? So you've probably seen all sorts of videos out there with dudes talking about video games. They don't play video games. You see Andrew Tate talking about video games, but he never plays them. You see all the alpha male influencers talking about business and whatnot and saying, oh, it's so stupid to play video games. It's for losers, beta little dorks. But they never play them. So how can they tell you anything about them? Maybe they just being closed-minded because frankly, they don't really know. This is like a person who's never enjoyed the Arby's 5 for 5 deal telling you not to eat Arby's, but they don't know if you've ever had the Arby's 5 for 5, 5 Arby's melts for $5. That bliss is something to tell stories about. If you get fat on the Arby's 5 for 5, yes, you look like a fat, disgusting fuck. Yes, no one's gonna fuck you. You're a beach, stupid looking whale. But I get it. I get it. I've had the 5 for 5. I get why you did that. I don't like the outcome, but I get it. Same thing applies with gaming here. I have thousands and thousands of hours in World of Warcraft. I have beat Doom Eternal on Ultra Nightmare. That means beating the entire game on the hardest setting without dying one time. I have thousands of hours in platform fighters. I used to actually go to game tournaments for Super Smash Bros. And be one of those guys. I bring my own little custom GameCube controller that I built in my apartment and come play people in Super Smash Bros. Competitively. I beat Ninja Gaiden on Master Ninja. Some of these things you kids might be too young to even remember, but I bet you can't do any of those things. I literally used to just sit in my house and make custom stick boxes to play Virtua Fighter. I dare you, I triple dog dare you, go and try and beat the Ultra Gore Nest or Super Gore Nest in Doom Eternal on Ultra Nightmare. You won't be able to do it. I have mastered every single type of role in World of Warcraft. I can tank, I can DPS, I can heal. Oh boy, can I heal. So trust me when I tell you, I get it. I understand why you play games. I understand why you love them. And the other reason why I can tell you this is because at one point I had to analyze games and I realized what a dangerous habit it is. I'll explain why in this video. And I stopped them. Since then, my net worth grew to 9 figures and is now closing in on multiple 9 figures. So not only can I get down and dirty and relate to you with your game playing, I've also gotten disgustingly rich so I can tell you a little bit about the results of stopping games and actually getting results in your life. So fucking listen, because getting results in your life, it's a good thing. You want it to happen. Because if you don't, you're going to be like one of these people watching a new Mario Kart release. You see that? Bunch of grown men on a live stream for a child's game, screaming bloody murder, cursing because they increased the price by $20. You do not want to end up a 30-year-old plus man who watches Nintendo live streams on a Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. complaining about a $20 price increase. Your life is fucked at that point if that is you. And the sad, honest truth is that most men get dragged down this hole. It is probably the biggest hole, the juiciest hole. It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway kind of gal kind of hole that every dude falls into, because games land in this special type of habit where it seems almost acceptable. It's like doing crystal meth and everyone be like, yeah, that's all right. You know, he's a crystal meth doer. He just does that when he gets home after work. And it fucks your brain. And it seems normal, and it seems like everyone should do it, and it doesn't even seem that unhealthy. But I'm telling you, you could have a raging drinking habit. You could just be a raging drunk, which I've done as well. I've been a raging drunk for many years. Falling in bushes, walking home, throwing up on myself a little bit after a good old 3-day bender in Vegas. I've done that too, trust me. Gaming is much more damaging than that. So you chronic alcoholics, don't change a thing as you watch this video. In fact, do more of it. It's fucking awesome. I'm just kidding, stop. We're gonna make a stop drinking video here soon, but I gotta fix you, you motherfuckers playing games. So you gotta understand this about them and why they're ruining your life, and you don't even know it. All right, so look, my merry little hobbit virgin. There are many bad things that us dudes do. We drink, we do drugs, we talk to dudes on OnlyFans pretending to be women and give them money to show us pictures of some slutty hot sloot. We got a lot of demons. But video games, by far, if there's success, okay, we got one booby over here, and then we got video games. Video games are the best, on the left booby, video games are the best divider of a man between a life of failure and a life of success. There is absolutely nothing that will get in your brain and stop you from being successful more than video games. Now, I know what you're thinking. Elon Musk plays video games. He plays a lot of Diablo. Okay, I'm going to make you a deal in this video. I'm going to make you one deal. When you are 1/1000th, actually 1/10,000th as successful as Elon Musk, aka you have $40 million in your bank account, I give you permission to play video games. Does that sound fair? Okay, then you can start comparing yourself to Elon Musk, the most successful man living on planet Earth right now. But until then, we're going to have to lower our standards of who we compare ourselves to, okay? Okay, thanks. And you need to understand how video games do this because, like I said before, they are very much accepted. Like drinking, for example, no one bats an eye if someone gets drunk every single week. And I've been there. Everyone's like, you know, Alex is just drunk again and yelling things that will get him banned off the internet for life. He's fine. Don't worry about him. It's acceptable. Video games, they are not only accepted, it's like a very accepted, pushed upon lifestyle that many men adopt, and then they do it every day when they get home, and then it slowly ruins their life and they don't think anything about it. Here's why. See, the first thing you need to understand about video games is why they feel so damn good. And so what video games are essentially drugs. What do I mean by this? So a drug, just like alcohol, the reason why you have fun when you're drinking alcohol is not because you're actually having fun. It's not because you're connecting with other people or being social. It's not because of any of that. It's because you drank a poison, or maybe a tasty old fashioned, a delicious treat, poison or delicious treat, whatever you want to call it. But this delicious treat then triggered all the happy chemicals in your mind, all the dopamine, all the good feelings, all the social connection chemicals to get all released at once. So technically what you're doing is you're not actually enjoying anything. You're pushing a button that releases all the chemicals that simulate enjoyment, that then make you confused and make you think that you're enjoying something. This is why when you do a lot of things that you do when you're drinking, but you do them sober, you don't actually enjoy it. That's because you don't actually have fun doing them. This is why you probably have friends when you drink with them, and then you hang out with them sober. It's terrible. It's because you don't actually like any of the things you're doing or the people you hang out with. You're just literally pushing all the happy chemicals in your brain. You are hacking your brain. This is why you could do something as simple as painting your fucking house drunk, and it's a good time. You don't enjoy painting your house. You enjoy the hacking of thy brain. It's like you have a really slow Honda Civic, but then you put a rocket on top of it and send it down the highway at 1,000 miles per hour and say, look, I got a really fast car. It's as fast as Lamborghini. No, you put a rocket on top of your car. The car itself is not fast. So this is the exact same thing going on with video games in a much more subtle way, because there are certain things that a man needs in his life, like ambition, goals, fulfillment, accomplishment, and even interaction with other people. But fuck that. Like, who cares about that? You need these things in your life, and these things feel really, really good to go after. You can also add things like progress, creating things, stuff like that. So what video games are exceptionally good to do is poking all of these things just in the same exact way that alcohol or a drug or any type of other addictive substance would push buttons in your brain. Because when you're playing a video game, what they're designed to do, like there's literally a developer sitting there, it's to trigger as much dopamine and these feelings as possible. These feelings that you desperately need. That's why you play video games. That's why you can play them for 12 hours straight. Trust me, I've had the 12, 15-hour World of Warcraft play sittings. Like, I've been there as well. How the fuck can a person possibly do it? It's because these games dump these things on your brain. That's because every single aspect of them, especially modern games, like maybe Super Mario 64 was kind of more of like, hey, you can only get so fucking high collecting stars. But if you ever played more recent games, particularly MMOs, online multiplayer games, a lot of things on mobile phones, really just any game in general these days, they all have these hooks in them. They are meant to hook into your brain and trigger each of these things to a T. If you look at how they develop games, they are set up at first to give you as huge of dopamine hits as possible for as little effort as possible, and then they shrink the dopamine hits and then lengthen out the time to get them. And so as you're playing these games, they're rigged to give you this sense of ambition, goal achievement, fulfillment, but it's really, you're not getting any of these things out of life. You're not actually doing anything or doing any goals. The game is rigged to give you these things. The game is rigged for you to win. And so it's like this train track that gives you all these senses of accomplishment and focus and success when you're not actually getting any accomplishment or success. You're on a train track that's meant to simulate these things in the most intense possible euphoric way. Trust me, if you're ever working on your business or you're in the gym or something, you will feel accomplishment and success as you hit your goals, but it's nothing like you'll feel playing World of Warcraft. It's nothing like you'll ever playing a video game. That is the red hot crystal meth of feeling, ooh, I got to go get that next hit. Ooh, I'm addicted to it. This is why people say they're addicted to gaming. This is why they talk about how good it feels the game, because the game is designed to press these buttons in the hardest hitting way possible. It's like they crafted a drug for male ambition, success, and fulfillment that perfectly hits it, gets it to dump all the chemicals telling you you've done these things when you actually really haven't. Now, I know what you're thinking at this point. Okay, so it's like telling me I'm successful when I'm not. Why is it bad? This is why it's bad. 3 extremely very bad things happen with this. Okay. The first and most obvious one right here, and these all tie into each other and they're more or less the same thing, but I have to explain every aspect to it, is dopamine. I'm sure you guys have heard people talking about dopamine and how you need to get it from the right sources and dopamine fasting. If you go back like 5-6 years on YouTube, I was the first person to really be hammering this home, by the way. If you look at all self-help content on YouTube, it's basically copying me from 5 to 6 years ago. I take credit for literally everything. Every piece of good information on YouTube you see pretty much came from my OG channel. So you should just go watch that thing endlessly. Monk Mode, Alex Becker. That was the peak of my ego right there. But the most basic one is you are completely blowing out your dopamine systems. And this is way too much stimulation. You should never experience any type of drove of euphoria from all these male ambitious success goals right here at these levels, especially for doing something as simple as playing video games. This is like emotions and accomplishment you should feel when you've won the Super Bowl. It's not meant for human brains. And so the first thing you're going to do right here is you're going to blow out all your dopamine. This is going to stop you from enjoying literally anything normal. It's also going to stop you from enjoying video games. If you notice, if you've played video games for a long time, I've played it for like 15 years. When I first started playing video games, I could play Super Mario 64, and it's a very straightforward game. You just go collect the star. There was no leaderboards. There was no leveling up. There was no nothing like that. And that used to be like, oh my God, oh my geez. I used to go play Unreal Tournament, and instead of there being ranking rooms where you leveled up and grew character, you just log onto a server and you just play games with no real score tracking, no real point with other dudes online. Oh my God. But now when you play video games, there has to be an intricate leveling system. The visuals have to be super intense. Like, games from the past are literally unenjoyable because our dopamine levels are raised so high because these things are so optimized to hit us now that you can't even enjoy past games or games that don't have some addictive system built into them. So backing up to all of this, it stops you, one, from enjoying. It's so intense, it actually stops you from enjoying games. This is why you get bored with games now. Like, very quickly, I can't even play most games because the dopamine level or the bar is so high these days. But more so, it's going to make it so you don't enjoy anything else. You might notice a lot of gamers, they beat a game and then they just need another game, and then they're really bored and they're waiting for another game to come out to give them a hit. They don't enjoy anything else they could possibly do. I've been in World of Warcraft bouts where I don't want to work out. I don't want to work on my business. I don't even want to go out and like talk to people. It stops you from enjoying literally everything else. And it's not because you're doing something great or it's so fun. It's because this game is literally set up just like heroin to push every single button in your brain to trigger every good feeling that you usually have to do something to feel without any effort. So your brain says, why the fuck would I leave my house? Why would I go work out? Why would I even want to work in my business when I can just get everything I'm looking for right here? Now, you need to understand when it comes to dopamine, your brain is not a principled thinker. That means it doesn't make deep connections to your well-being. It doesn't see something like, hey, so he's doing this thing for 2 to 3 weeks and then he's going to be successful later for it. And then it's going to make sure our life is comfortable later on. All it sees is immediate feedback on what you're doing at the time. So this is why, for example, when people do heroin, the body sees you getting every single good feeling and chemical and reward that it's optimized to get after. And so what it does is your brain thinks about the shortest way to get from A to B, which is the place where all these chemicals are released and trigger them. And since it sees what you're doing right here is the quickest way to get here, and then working out, going to the gym and like doing long-term things is long, your brain is simply going to optimize for this. It's an optimization machine. So it doesn't care that this is actually damaging you because it doesn't think in the principles. It doesn't say, well, if I take this path and then get to B, then C will eventually happen. It can't actually comprehend this because it's not thinking in principles and it doesn't think at all. It just simply optimizes like a algorithm. And so when you replace heroin right here with games, what it sees is the way to get success and ambition in your life, the way you feel fulfillment, the way you feel achievement, the way you feel connected, the way you feel engaged is to get here. And this rewards you so much more heavily and faster than, let's just say, working out in this instance. It's going to optimize completely around this. And then suddenly, everything else in your life becomes very boring. Now, this is bad for so many reasons. If you want to build a business, it needs to be at least kind of fun. If you want to get successful in life in anything, working out, sports, talking to chicks, I don't know, anything that a dude might want to do, it needs to be fun and engaging. It simply won't be. And this is where the second worst thing falls into it. It becomes the ultimate distraction in your brain. So for example, if I'm in a World of Warcraft binge or I'm leveling a character or something about that, when I'm in the shower, and this is how you can really gauge where you are in life and where your priorities are. What do you think about in the shower? So if I'm playing a lot of video games, what I'm thinking about is the video game. Literally sitting around like, okay, how do I get this next item? How do I get this next thing? How do I level up in this situation right here? I guarantee if you're playing a lot of games right now aggressively, or it's like your number one hobby, you go home or you're at work or you're doing anything and you're really thinking about this game a whole lot. Now, here's the problem with any of this. The things that you think about are the things you're going to be successful at just simply because thinking about them leads you to solutions. You can also get all self-help, meditation, hippy-dippy about it and think, well, what you think about brings what you think about into your reality kind of shit about, which is technically true. But if we want to narrow it down to the most simplest thing, if I'm thinking about my business and optimizing my business all day and how I can learn more to optimize my business, all my actions are also going to reflect that. And the things I think about and the deep thoughts I have are actually going to show up in my business because a lot of times when you think about problems, you find really creative solutions to them. Now, if 70% of my time is going towards thinking about a video game, which it will, you're not going to have that. You're not going to make progress in anything you're doing. So the first thing first, it becomes the ultimate distraction in your life. We can talk about how it stops you from being social. We can talk about how it makes you waste endless amounts of hours in front of a computer playing a game, but that's the come. The most important thing is all your focus and everything shifts to the game because your brain sees it as the fastest way to get from A to B. There's no reason to be thinking about video games. There's no reason to be thinking about improving your body or anything else in your life. This is where all the good things come from. So why think about anything else? And suddenly your brain and everything locks into that. And that's going to stop you from being successful more than anything else. If you go and have a drinking habit, Monday through Friday, you can still be locked into your business. If you go and smoke pot every single night, you can wake up and still be locked into your business. Look at Seth Rogen. He smokes more pot and watches more men bang his wife than any man possibly should. And he still is very, very successful. Hell, you can have a combination of all of the bad habits, but usually Monday through Friday, you can be very successful and focus on what you're doing. You're going to be slower and dumber and feel worse because of it, but your brain is still locked in. Gaming is one of the few hobbies you can pick up that is going to push your dopamine levels so far that you only think about that. For example, you could say, well, Alex, you play guitar. That's basically the same thing. You don't really get any benefits out of life from playing guitar. Or Alex, you have bouts where you do jujitsu like crazy for long periods of time, dedicating tons of hours and research into it. Yes, but the difference between guitar and video games is guitar is not some little system, this little machine, this little fake experience that a person designed to press every single ambition chemical that is in my brain, every single sense of fulfillment, to the extremes where my brain can't think about anything else. If I play guitar for a couple hours, my brain is not going to be so locked on guitar that I can't focus on anything else. My brain's not going to say, this is the strongest sense of dopamine on planet Earth. Forget literally everything else you're doing. Focus on this. That's not going to happen. And games are one of the very few things that are able to do this and then suck up all of your damn time and your creative time. See, what happens when you game is the same exact thing when you work or you get in the zone. Okay, your flow state. So you might notice when you play games, I love, in the sense of the word, when I say love, I mean the ability for games to dump chemicals on my brain. So it's not technically love, it's this fake experience that's meant to manipulate my brain, but still feels good. So I'm gonna use the word love right here. There's some satisfaction with getting up in the morning on a Saturday with nothing to do, drinking a ton of coffee, and then playing your favorite video game. You load up World of Warcraft. Oh, great, time to go mine and improve my character for the next 12 hours. And this is what's technically called your flow state. And you want to be spending this on areas of your life where you have impact, or impact your level of success, because this is the best state where you get stuff done. And what gaming is going to do is it's going to absorb all your ambitious state or your flow state. Yeah, you'll be at work, but really where you're going to be putting in the real work, your creative, impactful work, is going to be in that game when you get home. Or if you're a successful entrepreneur, you can do whatever the fuck you want, whenever you want, like I do. I can just be like, you know what? It's a Tuesday, but do I really want to work? Nah, I think I'll play the game. And all the flow state and all the creative work is going to go in there. You're going to rush through your work, and you're going to rush through the important things so you can get to your flow state in the game. There's no other thing that I can think of that actually does that, other than maybe hot, crazy women. But that's an entirely other subject that's going to ruin your life, young man. We're not going to talk about that today. There's really nothing on planet Earth that will do that. Nobody's like, I got to rush to get home so I can drink on a Tuesday. Well, maybe that's some of you. I don't know. But no one wakes up maybe on a Saturday morning and like, I got to drink some coffee and then sit by the pool and pound beers. Okay, maybe some of you do that too. Look, it's worse than drinking, I promise. But back to this. Gaming is the only thing that will actually do this to you. And so what then happens is you start getting all the things that make you successful, that drive you to be successful. All the good things, which is represented by this blob. You like my drawings? They're really explanatory, I know. But all the things, just shifting around this dog shit and everything, it's a very good teaching tool, I know. But all the things that drive you to be successful and drive you to become the man that you want to be, you get them from video games, and then it drives you into the worst possible place you could possibly be, which is wasting all your time, energy, and mental focus on games, and then blowing out your happiness sensors and your fulfillment sensors to the point that you can only get it from games. And this is bad, if you can't tell by now, because you desperately need these things to motivate you to become the person you want to be. If your brain is doing that A to B thing I just talked about from games, you don't get a reward for this B. I don't know if you've ever seen how most men end up when they end up gamers. If you go look at the gamer community as a whole, the older gamer community and the younger community, they're very angry all the time. And so, for example, I told you when I was watching that that Mario Kart live stream from Nintendo, I saw people losing their mind. You got on X, and I see people losing their mind over a $20 price increase for a children's game. Let me point the scenario right here. Imagine being 30 years old, and what you're doing on a Tuesday afternoon is watching a live stream about the release of a video game, a children's game, where you play as a plumber throwing shells at people. And then the people say, hey, this is going to cost $20 extra, and you have an avid emotion to it. Like you get online and spend hours complaining about it with other people. Your life is in a really dark spot of that place. There's so many things we can talk about right there that are a problem, but I think you can sum them all up. And the reason why this takes a person to such a dark place is because you are taking your life force, your most important chemicals that are going to drive you to be successful, you're dedicating them to a game. You're taking your time and energy and putting them into a game. You're taking your focus and your thoughts and you're putting them into a game. Not just a game, because like football's a game. You're putting them into a false experience that is literally a fake experience that's meant to make you feel like you are accomplishing something when you're not. The game is literally rigged for you to beat it. It's a chemical loop that is meant to trick the human brain into thinking it's experiencing something that it's not. In the same way that when you're drinking and you're talking to somebody and you feel a connection with them, you're not feeling a connection to them. You're having your serotonin and all the chemicals that simulate connection being dumped on their brain, giving you a false connection with a person. And it's just like drinking to make friends. When you do that, you actually don't make friends. This is why a lot of people have tons of friends in their 20s that they drink with, and everybody stops drinking and no one hangs out anymore because they're not actually friends. And so all that investment they put into those people actually doesn't end up paying up. And then they end up at 30, 40, no friends. Seems familiar? You probably noticed a lot of your parents went through that same exact phase. If you're getting a little bit older now, you might be noticing the same exact thing too happening to you. Gaming is like that times 10, but it ties not into making friends, but to success. Because gaming is one of the few things where the reward is non-existent. If you go and play football for tons of hours, maybe you don't get to the NFL, but you're going to learn a lot. Your body's going to be improved. You're going to learn a lot about yourself, your character, building successful habits, stuff like that. Same thing with going to doing jiu-jitsu, learning to play guitar. You even will be able to make friends with people, maybe go play some gigs. There's going to be benefits to you long-term with these hobbies and time you're putting into something. If you go and work on a business for 10 years for fun, you get to the point where you're able to enjoy your job, whether it's a business or you're just an employee and you enjoy what you're doing. By the way, you can make so much money being an employee. I like to stress on my videos. Every other channel just tells people, oh, being an employee is the worst thing ever. No, trust me. I have employees that are closing in on 8 figures net worth from working for me. You can make a lot of money as an employee. But that's off topic. Backing up to this, if you work in a business, you do anything for 10 years, you're going to walk away with a lot of experiences and learnings that make you a much better person. Gaming's the only thing where you can put in thousands of hours and you get the same experience over and over again and you gain nothing. I want you to think, I put in thousands of hours in the World of Warcraft. I have nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. And look, I'm not saying you can't have interesting experiences in video games. I remember beating Super Mario 64. I remember Final Fantasy X, that ending. I still go back and watch videos and shed a tear. Poor Yuna. I have thousands of hours playing fighting games and platform games. And yes, I got better at those games, and then I stopped playing them, and I have absolutely nothing to show for it. And they really didn't teach me anything because you don't have to leave your comfort zone to play video games. If I go and put in 1,000 hours in jiu-jitsu, one, I'm going to be able to beat up pretty much everyone I meet. I'm going to learn so much about myself. I'm going to make friends. It's going to teach me results. There's so much stuff, and I'm going to have tons of new experiences and new learnings from it. When you play video games, you're going to have the same experience over and over again past the first 50 hours. How many video games have you beaten? It's the same travel or journey every single time. Start a game, grow a character, do some challenges that are actually meant for you to beat them, and then get to the end of the game. And most games these days don't work like old games. It's not like Final Fantasy X where you play the game and then you stop. And the way most people play the games, if you're like me, I put like 500 hours into Final Fantasy X. So don't tell me like, oh, you just want to do it for the story and the experience. No, I sat there leveling my character into oblivion and getting nothing for it. If I had been a kid and I'd taken the thousands of hours that I played video games and put it into learning code, businesses, jiu-jitsu, learning guitar, oh my gosh, I'd have so many cool things to show for it. But instead, I just have the same stupid repetitive experiences over and over and over again. And all these skills that I put into all these games that become worthless the second you stop playing them. And there might be a few of you thinking, well, what if you become a professional gamer or streamer? You're not. And professional gamers make shit money, and professional streamers who play games, probably not going to be you. So to wrap it all up, you have games, which are these things that hijack all the things in your head that are going to drive you to be successful. They make it so you can't enjoy anything below this threshold. Everything else in your life will become boring because of games. They hijack all your thoughts, time, and energy that is going to drive you to be successful in business or anything that makes you improvement. It's also going to make improving at things that take periods of boredom unbearable. If you're actively playing video games, doing something like sitting around and optimizing a landing page for your business is not going to be exciting. It's not going to be fun. And then finally, they give you nothing. They take thousands and thousands of hours. I have over 10,000 hours in video games. I could have used that to master something in my life, like actually truly master it. But instead, I have tons of repetitive experiences that hijacked all my time and took away years and years of my life of focus, energy, and ambition. All for manipulated fake experiences. Now, am I saying you can't ever game ever again? No, I'm not saying that. For example, I'm playing Donkey Kong Bonanza right now. Everybody's like, whoa, he's playing games. Or I'll play games on stream from time to time. Or when Monster Hunter released, I played that for a few days. I'm not saying you can't ever play games ever again. Is it beneficial if you don't? Yes. What I'm saying is that you really need to look at games for what they are. So for example, like with alcohol, I still occasionally drink. But I know the bundle of matches that I'm playing with, and I look at it with extreme pessimism, and I know exactly what I'm doing when I drink. I don't drink to make friends. I don't drink to feel connection with people because I know it's all fake. I drink because getting drunk is kind of fun sometimes, but I do it very rarely because it slows down all the things in my life that I really care about, and I don't confuse it with something that's actually important. The same thing comes with games. So when I'm like going to load up and play Donkey Kong Bonanza once a week and go catch some bananas for an hour or two, I don't look at it as something that is important. And I look at it with extreme pessimism. And when I see new games and stuff come out, I don't feel the need to play them or include them in my life because I know that I've had that experience before and I'm going to get so much better enjoyment out of my life from doing the things and keeping my brain obsessed with what I'm actually working on. See, your personality is not actually your personality. Your personality, for the most part, and what you enjoy doing and what you think about all the time is actually your brain optimizing for dopamine and these chemicals. So, for example, if you drink a lot, your brain is not going to drive you to go make friends and socialize and do like normal stuff. It's going to drive you to drink because it gets connections from there. It's going to optimize for that. So you're going to think, wow, I really like drinking. This is something that's important to me. No, it's just your brain optimizing. Same thing applies with video games. If you're playing video games a lot, you're going to think your personality is like, hey, that's one of my hobbies. No, it's not. Your brain is just optimizing for that shit. Your hobbies can be whatever your brain optimizes for, like building a business or working out. You just have to structure your brain to get dopamine from those things, and then your brain is going to go, oh wow, I really enjoy this thing. For example, I don't enjoy working out if I'm actively playing World of Warcraft. It's a huge burden to me. I don't enjoy doing tedious things like optimizing ads for my business if I'm playing World of Warcraft. I want to go and finish up that shit. And me being an extremely driven, ambitious person suddenly loses the taste for these things that are important to me. And that's because your brain is going to optimize itself and optimize its hobbies for the quickest way to get the dopamine releases. And there's nothing more manipulative and better designed than video games. And that is why you really shouldn't play these things. If you're in your 20s, it shouldn't be a hobby. It shouldn't be a habit that you have. It shouldn't be something you routinely do. If you find yourself thinking about games or wanting to play games or rushing home to play games, you're fucked. You're just throwing your life down the drain. You're throwing huge chunks of it away. Thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, and more importantly, your ability to enjoy anything else. You're throwing it away. So you just shouldn't do it. It shouldn't be something you enjoy. It's not going to take you anywhere good in life. It's not going to bring you any level of happiness or fulfillment. Everything you're enjoying is fake anyways from it. It's making everything else in your life that's going to bring you the best possible life you're going to have bland and tasteless. So just fucking stop doing it, and that's the video. Goodbye.